I died, choking on my own blood. The metallic tang flooding my mouth as Alex's hands, those same hands that once traced promises across my skin, pressed the pillow down harder. His face a mask of desperate greed. "It's for us.
Luce.
For the life we deserve," he whispered, even as my vision blurred to black. Sarah's laughter echoing from the closet where she'd hidden like the coward she was. But death wasn't the end. It was a goddamn reset button, slamming me back into my body 3 years earlier. Heart pounding in a hotel room in Vegas. The slot machine lights still flashing mockingly as I stared at my reflection in the bathroom mirror, alive, young, and seething with the knowledge of every betrayal yet to come. That first breath after the rewind hit like a freight train, my lungs burning as if I'd just surfaced from drowning. I was 28 again, the night before our elopement. Alex's ring heavy on my finger like a shackle disguised as sparkle. The memories crashed in waves, the years of building our tech startup together. Me coding through nights while he schmoozed investors, the secret offshore accounts he'd siphoned our millions into. Sarah, my college roommate turned best friend, slipping into our bed with whispers of "he loves me more." And the end, the staged car crash they pinned on my drunk driving, all to cash in on the life insurance and erase me from the empire I'd built.
But now?
Now I was the ghost in the machine, and they were about to learn what happens when the dead come calling. I stumbled out of the bathroom, the cheap hotel carpet muffling my steps, and found Alex sprawled on the king-sized bed, scrolling through his phone with that lazy grin. "Babe, you okay? Looked like you saw a ghost in there." If only he knew. I forced a smile, the kind that had won us boardroom deals, and slid onto the bed beside him. "Just nerves. Big day tomorrow." My hand brushed his thigh. Casual. But inside, I was mapping out the kill shots, expose the embezzlement first, then the affair. Let the superglue be the cherry on top of their humiliation. Revenge wasn't about quick kills, it was about slow burns, watching them squirm until they begged for the end that never came. The Vegas sun beat down like a hangover I hadn't earned yet, turning the Strip into a glittering fever dream as Alex and I stumbled out of the chapel the next morning, hitched in a ceremony that felt more like signing my own death warrant than starting a life. The Elvis impersonator had crooned, "Can't help falling in love," off-key, and I'd played the blushing bride, laughing as Alex dipped me for the photos. But every vow he murmured, "Till death do us part," landed like a punch to the gut, echoes of the pillow over my face, the screech of brakes on that rainy night in Brooklyn. I knew the script now. 3 years of climbing the ladder at Innovatech, our AI startup that promised to revolutionize predictive analytics for Wall Street. I'd be the quiet genius in the code trenches. He'd be the charismatic frontman. And Sarah? She'd slither in as the marketing whiz, her fake tits and fake smiles paving the way for real theft. We flew back to New York that afternoon, first-class champagne buzzing in my veins as the city skyline swallowed us whole. Alex's hand rested on my knee, possessive, like he already owned me. "This is it."
Luce.
"We're unstoppable." I nodded, staring out at the Hudson River snaking below, plotting my first move. In the original timeline, I'd trusted him blindly, pouring my inheritance, 50 grand from my folks' estate, into the company without a second thought. This time, I'd lawyer up before the ink dried on the incorporation papers. Our apartment in Chelsea was a wedding gift from his generous, venture capitalist buddy. A loft with exposed brick and views of the Empire State Building that screamed, "We've made it." I unpacked while Alex crashed on the couch, jet-lagged and horny. But I deflected with a promise of later, my mind racing. Step 1. Secure my assets. I slipped into the bedroom, booted up my laptop, and wired the money to a new offshore account in the Caymans, one I'd set up in my head 1,000 times since dying. No traces. No questions. By nightfall, it was done. The confirmation email a quiet thrill in my inbox. Sarah called that evening, her voice syrupy over the speakerphone. "Oh my God. Mrs. Harrington, spill. How is eloping with your dreamboat?" I picture her in her Williamsburg studio, surrounded by vegan candles and pilfered designer bags, already eyeing Alex like a mark. Blissful, I lied, glancing at him as he mixed us Manhattans in the kitchen. You should have seen him in that suit. We chatted for an hour. The old rhythm easy. But every giggle from her end twisted the knife. She didn't know yet that I knew about the texts, the hotel receipts, the way she'd cooed his name while I bled out on the pavement. That night, as Alex finally pulled me into bed, his kisses urgent and familiar, I faked the moans, my body responding on autopilot while my brain cataloged weaknesses. His gambling habit, buried under charm and charisma, poker nights at the Friars Club that drained thousands. The business trips to Atlantic City that were really hooker-fueled benders. And the big one, the insider trading scheme he'd cook up with Sarah, using our AI to front-run stock tips for his VC pals. In the old life, I discovered it too late, after they'd framed me as the fall guy. This time, I'd feed them enough rope to hang themselves. The first week blurred into a honeymoon haze of meetings and mergers. Innovatech launched with a splash at TechCrunch Disrupt, Alex on stage in a tailored Tom Ford suit, spinning our beta demo like a televangelist. I watched from the wings, fingers itching to rewrite the code that powered it all, my code, laced with backdoors I'd install tonight. "Ladies and gentlemen," he boomed, "meet the future of finance. Predict AI. Where tomorrow's trades happen today." The crowd ate it up, venture money flowing like cheap Merlot. Sarah was there, front row, her red dress a slash of betrayal, clapping like she owned the applause. After the panel, she cornered me in the green room, air-kissing my cheeks. "Lucia, you're a goddess. This is huge." Her eyes flicked to Alex, lingering a beat too long. I smiled, clinking glasses. "Couldn't have done it without you,
Babe.
your pitch deck sealed the deal." Lies. All of it, her contributions, were plagiarized from my notes. But I needed her close. Needed to watch the cracks form. By month 2, the office hummed with 20-somethings in hoodies, ping-pong tables echoing under fluorescent lights. I buried myself in development, emerging only for investor dinners at Per Se, where Alex's charm offensive netted us series of funding, $10 million from a shark named Victor Lang, a silver-haired Wall Streeter with a reputation for eating founders alive. "Impressive," he'd said over foie gras, eyeing me like a side dish. "But can she deliver?" Alex laughed it off, squeezing my hand under the table. "Lucia's the brain. I'm just the pretty face." That night, in the cab home, Alex's phone buzzed, a text from Sarah. "Missed you at the after-party. Drink soon?" I glimpsed it over his shoulder, feigning sleep against his chest. He deleted it quick, but the seed was planted. I started small, anonymous tips to the SEC about irregular trades at a rival firm, testing the waters. Nothing pointed back, but it made Alex sweat during our strategy calls, his eyes darting to me like I might bite. Fall crept in with crisp air and falling leaves in Central Park, where I'd run to clear my head, pounding pavement while replaying my death on loop. The rain-slicked road. Tires hydroplaning. Sarah at the wheel with Alex's orders ringing in her ears. Make it look like an accident. She'd sobbed at my funeral. Academy Award shit. While he pocketed the payout and sold the company to Lang for a cool 100 mil. Bastards. I confronted the first ghost at Thanksgiving. Hosting a dinner for family, just us. Sarah. And Alex's estranged brother, Mike. A rumpled accountant from Queens who nursed a beer and eyed the turkey like it owed him money. Sarah arrived with a bottle of Napa Cab and a hug that lingered. Her perfume cloying. Lucia. This place is insane. You two are living the dream. Alex carved the bird with flair, toasting to new beginnings, but I caught Mike's whisper to him in the kitchen. Heard rumors?
Bro.
That funding clean? Alex brushed it off, but I filed it away. Mike could be useful. As plates cleared, conversation turned to the future, babies, expansions, the American dream wrapped in a bow. Sarah cooed about Auntie Judy's, her hand brushing Alex's under the table. I excused myself to the bathroom, splashing water on my face, staring at the woman in the mirror, sharp cheekbones, dark hair pulled into a no-bullshit ponytail, eyes like chipped obsidian. You're not her anymore, I muttered. You're the reckoning. Back at the table. I dropped the bomb casual as pie. Hey, Alex. Remember that clause in the funding docs? The one about audits. His fork paused midair. Sarah's laugh tinkled too high. Mike just grunted. Interested. What about it? Alex asked, voice steady. I shrugged. Lang's team wants a prelim. Thought you'd handle it. The silence stretched, turkey congealing on plates. That night, as they left, I saw the texts light up his phone again. She's onto something?
We need to talk.
Good. Let the paranoia fester. Winter hit like a slap. Snow blanketing the city and hush while Innovatech exploded. Our app went viral among hedge funds. Valuations soaring to 50 mil overnight. Alex threw a holiday party at Le Bernardine. Black tie excess with caviar towers and a string quartet. I wore emerald silk that hugged my curves. A necklace he'd gifted me in the old life. Now a noose around his neck, metaphorically. Sarah showed in silver sequins. Turning heads. Her arm looped through Victor Lang's like she owned the room. You're glowing, Lucia. Lang slurred over oysters. His breath scotch-heavy. Marriage suits you. I smiled, deflecting. It's the code. Keeps me up all night. Alex hovered, schmoozing, but his eyes tracked Sarah like a heat-seeking missile. Midway through, I slipped away to the coat check, planting a burner phone in her purse, synced to mine. Every tap recorded. By New Year's, the evidence piled up, late-night brainstorms at her loft. His car idling outside at 2 a.m., whispers of, we deserve this, mirroring his deathbed lies. I didn't rage, I refined. Hired a PI off Craigslist. A grizzled ex-cop named Ray, who tailed them to a no-tell motel in Jersey. Snapping pics of tangled sheets and guilty exits. You want dirt? You got it, he growled over coffee at a diner off Times Square. But why? He seems like a prick. But this is nuclear. I slid him an extra grand. Because pricks like him think they can bury you alive. Spring thawed the streets, and with it, my first strike. I leaked the motel photos to a gossip rag, blind. Of course, framed as Tech Titan's secret side piece. The story hit page 6. Innovatech CEO's steamy affair rocks Silicon Alley. Alex came home furious, slamming doors. Who the fuck did this? I played innocent, brewing tea in the kitchen. Babe, it's brutal. You think it's her? He paced, phone glued to his ear, yelling at PR flax. Sarah called me in tears that night. Lucia, it's not what it looks like. He's just stressed. 이술해. Voice honey over venom. I believe you. We'll fix this. But inside, I toasted silently to the first fracture. The board meeting followed, tension thick as fog. Lang leaned in, cigar smoke curling. Scandal's bad for business. Son. Clean it up. Alex nodded, sweat beading, while I sat silent, fingers steepled like a spider. Post-meeting. He cornered me in the elevator. You okay? I met his eyes, seeing the killer beneath. Devastated. But we'll survive.
Lies.
All lies. I was thriving on their rot. Summer sizzled in, humidity turning the city into a steam bath. Innovatech hit unicorn status. Champagne corks popping at a yacht party on the East River. Sarah and Alex danced too close, her head on his shoulder, while I sipped rose and chatted up Mike, who'd shown with a date, a mousy paralegal who fidgeted with her pearls. Heard about the leak, Mike muttered. You think it's insider? I shrugged. Wouldn't surprise me. Family knows all the secrets. He eyed me sharp.
Yeah.
Like that old deal with Dad's estate. Alex always said you got the lion's share. Bingo, the buried bone. In the old life, Alex had forged docs to claim my inheritance, but Mike had suspected. Time to pull that thread. As fireworks burst over the water, I slipped below deck, hacking the company's server from my phone, backdoor access Child's Play. Downloaded the lot, falsified ledgers, Sarah's padded invoices, Alex's gambling debts funneled through Shellcore. Enough to sink them to China. But revenge is a marathon, not a sprint. I waited, letting the affair simmer, their stolen moments piling like kindling. By August, they were sloppy, dinners at hidden bistros in the village, her lipstick on his collar at board luncheons. I confronted him once, casual over brunch at Sarah Beth's. You smell like her perfume. He froze, mimosa halfway to lips. What?
Luce.
No. Save it. I stood, leaving him with the bill, and the bill of rights I'd memorized. Fix it, or I will, he begged. Flowers and tears. But the die was cast. Sarah ghosted me for weeks, then showed up at the apartment with crocodile tears.
He's confused.
We both love you. I let her in, poured wine, listened to her spin. Tell me everything, I said, recorder hidden in the fruit bowl. Her confession spilled. The loneliness, the late nights, how Alex promised to leave me after the IPO. I nodded, sympathetic. I get it. But secrets have a way of surfacing. She left lighter, me heavier with ammo. Fall again, leaves turning traitor like old friends. The SEC knocked first, an informational inquiry about trading anomalies. Alex blanched at the letter, pacing our now-strained loft. This is sabotage. Someone's gunning for us. I comforted him, hand on his back, feeling the tremor. We'll fight it, but I fed them more, tipped emails, doctored timestamps pointing to his logins. Lang pulled funding strings, squeezing. Sarah cracked, next, showing at my door drunk at midnight. He's using me, Lucia. To get to the money, your money. The secret she'd buried, Alex's plan to frame me for the embezzlement. Just like before. I hugged her, whispering, "I know." Her sob was genuine. A crack in the facade. Maybe she wasn't all monster, just a fool in love with one. As winter loomed, I prepped the endgame. Ray delivered the final dossier, Alex's ties to a Jersey mob bookie. Debts that made his gambling look like pocket change. One call, and they'd collect with interest. But I wanted personal. Intimate. The superglue idea hit during a sleepless night, born from a true crime podcast about scorn lovers and DIY disasters. Not to kill, no. Death was too merciful. To humiliate. To bind them in their own filth until the world saw. Christmas lights twinkled like false hopes along Fifth Avenue as I finalized the trap. The city buried under a foot of snow that muffled screams no one would hear. Alex and Sarah thought they had me cornered, the SEC probe deepening. Lang threatening to oust him as CEO. Our marriage a cold war of slammed doors and silent dinners. He'd moved half his shit to her place in Soho. For space, he claimed, but I knew the truth. They were plotting the divorce. The asset split that would leave me penniless and them rolling in my blood money. I played the wounded wife to perfection, showing up at the office with takeout from Nobu, tears brimming as I cornered him in his glass-walled corner suite. Alex.
Please. We can fix this.
Therapy. Whatever. He softened, the actor in him rising, pulling me into a hug that smelled of her, jasmine and regret. I love you.
Luce.
It's just pressure. Bullshit. But it bought me time. That night, he came home.
Tentative.
With a bottle of Veuve and a promise ring to start over. I wore it like armor, letting him make love to me on the living room rug. Every thrust a reminder of the pillow.
The crash.
I came with a gasp that was half ecstasy, half exorcism, whispering his name like a curse. Sarah sensed the thaw, her text to him cooling from fiery to frantic. I monitored it all from the burner. Her pleas. What about us? You said she'd be out after the holidays. Fuel for the fire. Mike became my unwitting ally, dropping by for bro time that I crashed with baked ziti and pointed questions. Heard the probes hitting close. Anything I should know for taxes? Alex waved it off. But Mike's eyes met mine over dessert, suspicion brewing. New Year's Eve. We rang in 2027 at a gala in the Met. Black gowns and bow ties swirling under chandeliers that dripped like melting ice. Alex was in his element, schmoozing Lang over vintage scotch, while I danced with VCs. My laughter a weapon. Sarah lurked on the edges, a gold gown clinging like desperation. Her eyes daggers when Alex pulled me close for the countdown.
10.
9. The ball dropped in Times Square on screens. Confetti raining. And as his lips met mine, I tasted victory, bitter.
Sweet.
Inevitable. The probe escalated in January. Agents in cheap suits raiding the office, seizing servers while Alex raged in the lobby. This is a witch hunt. I stood by him, a hand in his. The picture of solidarity for the cameras. Behind closed doors, he accused everyone, competitors, disgruntled coders, even me in a drunken haze one night. You hate this life, don't you? All the schmoozing. I gaslit him smooth. Babe, I die without you. The irony burned. Sarah folded first, calling me from a block number. Lucia. Meet me. Coffee at Joe. Please. I went, bundled in cashmere against the sleet, finding her at a corner table, makeup streaked, nursing a latte like poison. "It's over," she blurted. "He's gonna pin it all on me, the trades, the leaks." I was just following. Her hands trembled, nails bitten raw. I leaned in, voice low. "Tell me everything. For old time's sake."
She did.
Spilling like a confessional. How Alex recruited her at a networking mixer 2 years back. In this timeline, it was starting now. Promising equity, power, his bed. The insider tips were his brainchild, using my AI to scrape non-public data from client feeds. He said you'd never notice, that you were too buried in code. And the endgame, frame me as the mastermind, stage a breakdown to discredit me, then the accident to seal it. "I didn't want that part," she whispered. "But he scares me now." I believed half of it, her fear genuine, her complicity damning. "Help me stop him," I said, sliding a napkin with Ray's number. "Anonymously. Or we'll all burn." She nodded, sniffling, and left with a hug that felt like goodbye. February brought Valentine's, a farce of roses and resentment. Alex gifted me diamonds, stolen from petty cash. I knew, while I baked heart-shaped cookies laced with just enough laxative to keep him up all night. He shat apologies in the bathroom, and I slept like the dead, dreaming of fire trucks wailing. By March, the walls closed in. Lang called emergency board meeting at his Upper East Side club, mahogany panels and cigar haze reeking of old money. "We're pulling the plug unless heads roll," he growled. Eyes on Alex. "Yours, specifically." Sarah was there as consultant, her seat next to him a joke. I spoke up, calm as a scalpel. "Let me audit the code. If there's irregularities, I'll find them." Alex shot me a look, gratitude laced with paranoia, but nodded. It bought weeks. Enough to embed the virus. I worked nights in the server room. Fluorescent buzzed my lullaby, rewriting lines to flag every illicit query with timestamps tied to his IP. Sarah fed me scraps via burner texts, his mob ties deepening. A favor for the bookie involving laundered funds through our app. Mike confirmed it over beers at a dive in Astoria. He's in deep.
Luce.
Jersey wise guys don't play. I paid him to dig deeper. His paralegal girlfriend pulling SEC filings that painted Alex as the spider at the web's heart. Spring bloomed bloody, cherry blossoms mocking the decay. The affair reignited in secret. Motel cams caught them frantic, clothes shedding like sins. I let it ride, gathering the montage, audio of pillow talk plotting my demise, financial trails leading to Cayman nests. Ray tailed the bookie, a bull-necked goon named Vinny who met Alex in a Hell's Kitchen warehouse. Threats exchanged over duffel bags of cash. The twist hit in April, a rainy Tuesday that mirrored my death night. I found the letter in his desk drawer while cleaning, a paternity test. Positive. Addressed to a clinic in Boston. Alex had a son, 4 years old, with some college fling he'd buried. The timeline fit, pre-me, pre-company, a secret he'd kill to keep. "For the life we deserve," he'd said then. 2. Echoes of greed across timelines. It humanized him for a flicker, a scared kid becoming a monster, but rage surged back. He'd hidden a child while plotting to orphan my legacy. I confronted Sarah first. Anonymous note slipped under her door. "He has a kid. Ask about Tommy." She blew up his phone. Voicemails screeching accusations. He stormed into our loft that night. Face thunder. "What the fuck did you do?" I blinked innocent. "Do?" Alex,
Talk to me.
He cracked. Spilling. The boy. The payments. How Sarah's jealousy flipped the switch. She wants it all now, the company, the money, everything. We fought ugly. Vases shattering. Words like shrapnel. You're poison, he roared. I laughed.
Cold. No. Babe.
I'm the antidote. He slept on the couch. Gun from his nightstand missing. I'd stashed it days ago. May brought the audit results. My report a grenade. Irrefutable proof of manipulation. Logs screaming his name. The board ousted him. Lang's gavel final. You're done, Harrington. Sarah resigned in disgrace. Her consulting contract shredded. They blamed each other in tabloids. Tech scandal. Lovers' betrayal rocks empire.
But I wasn't finished.
The mob called in markers. Vinny's crew roughed Alex up in an alley off Canal. Ribs cracked. Message delivered. Pay up or else. He crawled home. Bloody lip and broken pride. Help me.
Luce.
Please. I nursed him. Bandages and bourbon. Whispering forgiveness while plotting the finale. June sweltered. The city a pressure cooker. I invited Sarah for girls' night. Wine at my place. The loft aired out like a tomb. She came wary. Eyes darting. Truce. I poured Merlot. Heavy-handed.
Truce.
To surviving assholes. We talked Tommy first, her rage fresh. Tears flowing. He lied to me. To us. I nodded. Sympathetic. Men like him. They deserve worse. As glasses emptied, I steered to the plan, expose the mob ties, flip on each other for immunity. She bought it. Desperate. What if we make him hurt? Really hurt. Her eyes gleamed, a mirror to mine. I smiled. Like glue? Bind him so tight, he can't run. She laughed.
Dark.
Super glue. In the lube. Poetic. We do it together. Her distraction. My delivery. Sisters in sin. The night was set for July 4th. Fireworks masking chaos. Alex. Oblivious. Planned a reconciliation weekend at their Love Nest Motel in Jersey. Ironic. Full circle. I prepped the bottle in my bathroom. Crazy glue swapped for the real deal. Colorless. Odorless. Lethal in intimacy. Ray-tailed. Cameras rolling. Mike waited in the wings, ready to call the cops. Independence Day dawned humid. The skyline popping with prep. Alex kissed me goodbye. Suit rumpled. One last chance.
Luce.
I waved him off. Heart steady. Sarah texted. Tonight. Room 12. The Jersey motel squatted like a bad memory off the turnpike. Neon sign flickering vacancy in a haze of truck exhaust and regret. I arrived early. Dusk painting the parking lot in bruised purples. Slipping the tampered lube into the nightstand drawer while the clerk, a gum-chewing fossil, ignored me for his soaps. Room 12 smelled of stale smoke and desperation. The bed a sagging witness to 1,000 sins. I lingered, tracing the headboard where scratches told stories of rougher nights, then vanished into the shadows. Ray's been idling across the lot. Lenses hungry. Back in the city, I paced the loft. Monitors split screen. Traffic cams on the Pulaski Skyway. Sarah's location pinging from the burner I'd planted in her bag. Fireworks cracked distant over the Hudson. Early celebrants lighting fuses on rooftops. My phone buzzed. Mike, cops on speed dial. You sure? I typed back. Positive. He ends tonight. Not in blood, but in ruin, the glue a symbol, binding their lies into a knot the world couldn't ignore. Alex arrived first, bottle of Patron in hand, whistling off-key as he unlocked the door. I watched via hidden cam. Heart a drum. He stripped casual, shirt tossed, muscles honed from gym sessions I'd funded, now slick with anticipation. Sarah, baby, where you at? His voice echoed, impatient. She rolled in 20 minutes later, sundress clinging in the humidity, bottle of Prosecco dangling like a lure. Missed you, she purred, door clicking shut. They collided like magnets, clothes shedding in a frenzy, his hands greedy, her moans performative. I fast-forwarded the feed, bile rising, until the moment, Lube snatched from the drawer. Cap popped. What's this flavor, he joked, squirting a dollop. She laughed, arching. Surprise me. It's set fast, invisible at first. A grunt, then a hiss. Fuck, ow. What the hell? Alex bucked. But she was stuck. Their bodies fused in a grotesque tableau, sweat beading as panic bloomed. Get off, shit. It burns. Her nails dug into his back. Not passion but terror. He twisted, yelping, the bed frame groaning under the struggle. The lube, it's
Glue.
Call 911. Sirens wailed within minutes. My anonymous tip to dispatch precise. Couple trapped in a sex accident. Route 9 motel. Firefighters breached the door. Axes ready. Faces shifting from routine to WTF as they assess the scene. Alex and Sarah, naked and adhered, cursing a blue streak. Ma'am. Sir, stay calm. We're gonna need the jaws of life. Flashbulbs popped from news vans I'd alerted via a throwaway Twitter account. Tech scandal update. Lovers in sticky situation. The extraction took hours. Foam and solvents failing. Medics hovering as they pried with precision tools. Alex's roars echoed. This is assault. Someone set us up. While Sarah sobbed. It was her, Lucia. That bitch. Paramedics carted them out on gurneys. Sheets mercifully draped. The parking lot a circus of cop cars and gawkers. Ray captured it all. Drone footage gold. By midnight, I was home, popping champagne solo on the balcony. Manhattan's fireworks, a private symphony. The news cycle ignited. CNN ticker scrolling, former Innovatech CEO and accomplice rescued from bizarre bondage incident. Talk shows buzzed. Kinky gone wrong or revenge porn? Pundits debating consent. Scandal. The fall of a golden couple. Alex lawyered up from the ER. Sarah spilling to anyone with a mic. It was the wife. She knew everything. Knew? Hell. I'd orchestrated the symphony. Dawn broke gray. Coffee bitter as I fielded calls. Mic first. Papers served. Divorces a slam dunk. Then Ray. Fed circling the money trail. Your tips paid off. The SEC swooped mid-morning. Cuffs clicking on Alex in his hospital gown. Charges piling. Fraud. Insider trading. Money laundering. You bitch. He snarled through the TV screen as agents hauled him. This isn't over. Sarah flipped like a pro. Deal cut for testimony. Reduced sentence for ratting on the mob ties. The affair. The embezzlement plot. Her presser was tear-streaked poetry. I was manipulated. Lucia was the victim. We all were. Oscar bait. But it stuck the knife. Lang called that afternoon. Voice silk over gravel. Impressive. Mrs. Harrington. The board's reinstating you as sole CEO. Full control. I accepted. Gracious. Already eyeing acquisitions to bury their ghosts. But the high crashed at dusk. A knock rattling the door. Mike.
Disheveled.
Eyes haunted.
Luce.
About Tommy. He'd dug too deep, the boy's mother. Dead in a hit-and-run 5 years back. Ruled accident, but smelling like Alex's handiwork. He paid her off.
Then.
Silenced her when she wanted more. The secret within the secret. My husband's first kill. To protect his empire before it began. Rage reignited. But so did doubt. Tommy 4. Innocent. Shipped to foster care after the crash. I doomed a child to shadows. Find him, I told Mike. Check in hand. Get him safe. July melted into August. The city gasping under heat waves as trials loomed. Alex's arraignment played like theater. Orange jumpsuit. No tie. Pleading not guilty to a litany, wire fraud. Conspiracy to commit murder, mine. Attempted. Racketeering with the mob. Vinny and crew rolled over too.
Dominoes falling.
Sarah's plea deal held. House arrest in her loft. Ankle monitor chafing her designer life. I stepped into the CEO role like slipping into stilettos, sharp, unyielding. Innovatech rebranded under my vision, ethical AI. Audits transparent. Donations to women's shelters, a quiet fuck you to the past. The press crowned me Phoenix founder, profiles gushing, from betrayed bride to boardroom boss. I smiled for cameras, but nights were vigils. Sleep fractured by replays, the glue, the gurney, the gavel. Twist came in September. A manila envelope slid under the door. Photos of Tommy. Chubby-cheeked and gap-toothed. Now with a new family in upstate Albany. Mike's note. Adopted.
Happy.
But Alex named you godmother in a will, predating everything. He planned to loop you in. Once the dust settled. A forgery? Or a shred of redemption? I burned it. Ashes scattering from the balcony. But the seed wormed. Had I misjudged the monster? Court dates blurred. Alex's trial, a media circus in federal court downtown. I testified last. Perched in the box like a queen on thorns. He built the company on my code. My trust, I said. Voice steady. Eyes locked on his. Then he tried to erase me. The jury, blue-collar New Yorkers. Faces etched with street smarts, nodded. The evidence a noose. Server logs. Wire transfers. My prepped demos of the backdoor exploits. Sarah took the stand before me. A ghost in gray Chanel. Voice quavering. He forced my hand. The affair was leverage, the plots. Worse. A cross-exam painted her complicit. But her tears swayed the soft-hearted. Alex's lawyer hammered me. Mrs. Harrington, isn't this payback? The glue incident you're doing? I met his gaze cool. I wish them stuck together. Fate delivered. The verdict dropped in October. Leaves flaming outside the courthouse. Guilty on all counts. 30 to life in Otisville. He lunged at the bailiff. Screaming my name, Lucia. You whore. I'll get you. Hauled away in chains. Sarah got 5 years. White-collar wing at Danbury. Her remorse buying leniency. Freedom tasted like rain-washed air. But hollow. I visited Tommy once. Anonymous donation in hand. Watching from a park bench as he kicked a soccer ball. Laughter pure. Mike joined me. Awkward. You did good.
Luce. But.
You okay? I shrugged. Surviving. November chilled. Thanksgiving solo with takeout turkey. the loft echoing. Ray retired to Florida. A fat bonus his goodbye. Lang proposed a merger over stake at Delmonico's, equal partners. His empire mine. You're ruthless.
Kid.
I like it. I countered hard, walking with majority stake, the ink drying like blood. But the ghosts lingered. Dreams of the crash. Now starring Tommy's face in the rearview. Alex's letters from prison, first rage. Then please, I did it for us.
The boy.
He's yours too, in a way. Delusion or truth. DNA test confirmed nothing I had known but the what-ifs nod. December snow fell soft. The city hunkered. I stood on the balcony. City lights a constellation of conquests. When the call came, Sarah. Collect from prison. Lucia?
I'm sorry.
For everything. Her voice cracked. Human. He made me. But I chose. Silence stretched. Why'd you let me live that night? I paused. Wind whipping. Because death's easy. Living with it? That's hell. The new year dawned crisp. 2028 etching itself in frost-laced windows as I steered Innovatech into uncharted waters, ethical algorithms for climate modeling, partnerships with NGOs. My face on Forbes as the queen of clean tech. The scandal faded to footnote. Water cooler lore for the next generation of founders. But for me, it was scar tissue, tender under silk blouses. Alex rotted in Otisville. Appeals denied. His letters, now weekly screeds of love, turned to hate. You'll burn alone. Lucia. No one's loyal like me. I shredded them. But fragments stuck, doubts like burrs. Sarah's release came early. Good behavior and a tell-all book deal shaving time. She emerged gaunt. Paparazzi flashing as she stepped into a black SUV. Heading for a halfway house in the Bronx. Our paths crossed at a charity gala in May. Her in thrift store chic. Me in Versace. The room humming with whispers. Lucia, she said, voice small over flutes of Veuve. Can we talk? We slipped to a balcony overlooking the reservoir. City hummed distant. I ghost wrote his appeals, she admitted, lighting a cigarette with shaking hands. Hoping for a miracle. But nothing. Smoke curled. A veil. Tommy, he's asking questions. About his Uncle Alex. I stiffened. Don't. She nodded, exhaling regret. I won't. But you should know, he left you everything in a codicil. The prison shrinks say he's cracking. Talks about the first wife. The crash. Like it was practice. Her eyes searched mine. Was it worth it? The glue? The fall? I leaned on the rail. Skyline sharp. Worth surviving?
Yeah.
Worth the cost? Jury's out. We parted civil. No hugs. Just a nod, enemies forged in fire. Tempered to acquaintances. Summer simmered with mergers. My stake in Lang's firm ballooning to 9 figures. Mike proposed over lobster rolls in Montauk. Ring simple. His accountant's steadiness a bomb. No secrets.
Luce.
Just us. I said yes on a beach at sunset. Waves crashing like applause. Tommy's face flashing, now 6. Thriving in his adoptive home. Soccer star with a gap-toothed grin. I'd funded scholarships anonymously. A thread to the boy who'd humanized the monster. But fall brought the reckoning. A whistleblower from Otisville, Alex's cellmate, bought with commissary, slipped Ray a tape. Recorded ravings. Alex confessing the hit and run in detail. Brakes tampered. The mother screams. For the kid. For the future. And buried deeper, my inheritance. The one he'd eyed from day one. Forged docs predating our wedding. Lucia was the mark. Smart, but blind. The DA reopened the case. Cold but crackling. Alex faced transfer to Supermax. Solitary for the add-ons. His final letter arrived pre-dawn, you win. But remember, the dead don't sleep. I burned it in the sink. Flames dancing. Then called the feds. Full disclosure. My role in the glue downplayed as prank gone wrong. Immunity traded for closure. Trial 2 was quiet. No circus, just facts in a stuffy courtroom. I didn't testify, Sarah did. Voice steady. He killed for greed. Twice. Verdict, life. No parole. The gavel a full stop. As marshals let him out, our eyes met through the scrum, his hollow. Mine steel. Lucia, he mouthed. I turned away, the door sealing his echo. Winter wrapped the city in white. Holidays hushed. Mike and I married small in Central Park. Snowflakes confetti. Vows whispered true. No more ghosts. Tommy sent a card via Mike. Crayon scribbles of a family. For stick figures under a sun. I framed it. A talisman. Innovatech thrived. My code now safeguarding elections. Predicting famines. Power wielded right. Sarah faded to podcasts. Her book stuck. A Tale of Betrayal, a bestseller cautionary. We emailed sporadically, her in therapy. Me in yoga, wounds scabbing. One night. Spring edging in. I stood on the old balcony. Now ours. Mike snoring inside. The skyline twinkled. A testament. I died once. Reborn in fury. And built from ashes. The glue? Not justice. But justice's jester. A laugh in the dark. Reminding that even monsters could be made ridiculous. Was it happily ever after? Hell no. Revenge leaves stains. But it was mine. Hard one. And in America's grind. That was enough. The dead don't sleep. But the living, we dance on graves. Heels clicking to a beat only we hear.